Today we're going to talk about what to look for when you're looking for a remote job. So we see this all the time. You see job listings posted on remote job boards. You see them on LinkedIn and they say remote, and then you read through the fine details and there's some obscure stuff in there. It'll say, we're going to get into some really funky stuff here, but a lot of times this spectrum of what remote means to a company could mean a ton of different things. And it kind of blindsides people, right? I hear about it all the time on LinkedIn. People will message me and say, hey, is this job actually remote? And you'll see in the fine print, yeah, it's remote, but it's actually work from home in this specific state in the United States, right? So there's really no regulation in how people label remote jobs, which is really, really frustrating to people. So Marissa and I have put together a list of 11. There's probably more. Unfortunately, there are probably more different types of remote categories. So we're going to go through these with the intention of explaining what they mean, and so that you, when you're looking at remote jobs, can know what you're getting into before you even apply to the job. So that you actually understand, all right, this means I can't travel when I'm working remotely, or this one actually means I can work from anywhere in the world. So we're going
through the spectrum. I'm excited to go through this because, as we said, it's kind of like, I think of it as a range of we used to think about it as remote or not remote. And it was either like you're in the office or you're working from home. I feel like it was really only kind of two options. And I feel like over the last couple of years, all of these other things have bubbled up to give this whole spectrum of there's a lot of things in the middle of work in an office 5 days a week and work from anywhere in the world. And a lot of people get really confused with the messy middle. I think companies purposely sometimes kind of confuse people in the messy middle. And and it's the messy middle.
Ooh, the
remote messy middle. That should be the new title of this. But there's a lot going on and it's hard to navigate. So we wanted to kind of walk you guys. We'll kind of go from start to finish, from number 1 to 11 of fully in an office 5 days a week to work from anywhere, and all the other little options that you're probably seeing in between that can get really confusing in job listings. And it's funny, Jeff, as you were mentioning this, the analogy that came to mind was, if you think about in grocery stores, it's the health food section where it's what once was considered healthy, now you're this isn't actually healthy. There's all these little things in the middle that it's is it organic? Is it gluten-free? Is it GMO-free? Does it actually not have seed oils? Does it not have all these ingredients? It's what we used to think of just food, and then there was health food, and now it's there's all these things in the middle of what is really included? What does it really mean? Is it really healthy? It's kind of the same thing going on with jobs.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And just because there's no guidance on how to label these things. There's been petitions to have this happen.
Who's
a lot more.
We should be petitioning.
It's interesting. It's not quite in the same vein. It's adjacent, but they're asking. I think it's in Canada. They have now, in certain parts, made it a requirement that if you apply to a job, the company has to respond back and not ghost you. Right. So it's interesting. It's different. It's a different vein. But there's also another one. I think it was in Canada again, where they're going to mandate transparent job salary listings in the posts. And there's people that are actually calling for actual remote definitions kind of thing. So I think we're starting to trend in that direction.
Here's the 11 categories. We will make it.
I love it.
We will know the companies.
I don't know it's going to get there because, how do you even...
If anyone can do it,
how would you even regulate that, But I think this kind of thing happens. But I want to be part of it. I want to be front and center as this thing happens. So let's get into it. We got a lot of different categories to cover. And let's give you the spectrum of what it is that we see on a daily basis. We're going to start with the
most
least amount of remote freedom. And we're going to move all the way into the things that we send out, which is work from anywhere jobs, full remote freedom. So we'll go all the way in between. You can understand all the minute language that they're using in kind of tricky ways so that you understand what you're getting into. So the first thing on the list for remote categories is work from headquarters. So that is full-blown, no remote work. You have to go into the office. We're talking... business casual, cubicles, the full 9 yards.
Old school. This is the only option I thought existed when I started working. That's
office.
What this is.
I mean, it almost was, except for, a few people. I remember when I was a kid, I met a few people that worked remote. And that was such a crazy concept.
What were they doing?
They had like
back then?
this home office, with a big laptop and everything. And they're on the phone, physical phone, all the time. I thought, what a crazy thing. But it was only limited to like super specialists,
I feel like the only version I saw of that is people who had home offices, but it would just like, they would like come home after work and just like do a little bit more work. It was like before laptops were even a thing, and they just would like have a place to work a little more. But even like before that, I feel like laptops weren't really a thing. People couldn't really do work unless they were like in their office. And then, when we started working, yes, there were laptops, but people weren't really, it was the rare occasion where I was like, you work remote? Like you call, and they had these like, like landline, like office, like dial in that you would, it was like the conference call lines that you would dial in if people were like sick that day, or I don't know, it just wasn't a thing. We were in those headquarters. I got to work from home one day a week sometimes. It was like a big deal. And my boss was always like, oh, like, fine. And I was like, what? My commute was like an hour and a half. And we're like, please let us work from home on a Friday. Like, I don't want to get dressed up. Like the commute is like so long on Friday afternoon. You just want to like go hang out with your friends. It's terrible. So anyway, that's our number one, kind of 5 days in an office. Yeah. And I would say, okay, that's number one. Yes. Anything else to say on that one? I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It doesn't always have it's funny, actually, I do want to mention, when you look at job postings, the way that Jeff and I are labeling these, like, you're not necessarily going to see this on a job listing. And even I was like, what would you call this? Like, there's not really a thing, but typically it will just give you a specific location on a job listing. And that means sometimes there's locations that will explain, and then it will also say, but you can work from anywhere. But if it doesn't say that, and it just gives you like, Austin, Texas, or like San Francisco, like you've got to be at that location and just assume it's that kind of headquarters location.
Usually what you'd see a generally remote company with a bunch of job listings. And then some of those job listings will say either headquarters or hub or on site. Like the other ones will say remote United States, remote Latin America, and these ones will say hub or headquarters or on site, that kind of thing. So they're kind of scattered in amongst the remote listings. And what is an interesting note on that is like a lot of these companies that are doing this, it limits their talent pool just to a very, very small region, and they're kind of suffering from that because say it's a San Francisco based job, right? And you have to be going into the hub. Their range of people that they've got is like, I don't know, 50 miles or so. So you're eliminating everything outside 50 miles. So it's kind of interesting. We're seeing a little bit of a brain drain because a lot of folks like us don't want that. And so they'll just start gravitating towards fully remote jobs. And it's just like a bigger talent pool.
It is wild to me when I think back to like the way I used to, I remember, so I was like living in New York working for Pepsi, and I was thinking about working for like Under Armour or like Lululemon or I don't know, just like other Nike, things like that was what I was interested in at the time. And like one was in Baltimore, one was in Washington, one was in Canada. And I was like, okay, am I going to move? Like I would think about applying to these jobs and be like, am I going to move my whole life? Like, do I want to live in Baltimore? But like, I want to work for this company, it's like blows my mind that like, not like, yes, you're saying companies have to like bring people in and convince people to live there or have that talent pool where they are. But also on the flip side, you as a person had to like think about how many families have like uprooted and been like, Dad, Mom got a job, we're moving to Texas and like from Massachusetts, and like kids have to go to different schools. Like it blows my mind that we ever did that or lived that way. Like people still do, it hasn't stopped, but it's so weird for me to think about now that like your whole life revolves around like where this office is located.
Yeah, entire lives built around it.
I can't fathom.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
And uprooting the lives, that's what's wild. That's wild to me.
Yeah. And then you read all these stories about people now returning to the office, and they go into their office and sit on Teams meetings with people across the room. It's like,
what are we doing?
We just can't let go. Well, let's not go down that path too much.
Okay, well, that's number one.
You get me uncorked. Yeah. So number 2 is remote exceptions and negotiated exceptions as per a contract. So say, for example, company wants to hire somebody and he's like, well, I'm living in rural Colorado, and as per my contract, I'm going to work remote. I remember we'd have people like this in companies. They're just like, oh, this guy works from XYZ place. And you're like, oh, that's interesting. Well, It's usually somebody that has a fairly irreplaceable skill set and they're able to negotiate these things. Other instances, people negotiate it for, say, health reasons or something like that. Maybe they're physically unable to come into an office and they get an exception to work remote. So it's not a company policy that they're working remote.
Yeah.
It's just them that get that exception. And that's not something you'll ever see on a job post, but you will run into people that are technically doing this, but that's just a one-off type of thing.
I guess they're technically a little bit more free, but it's like a weird, I think what you're saying is it's more like everyone's in the office. This is not the rule, but like there's like weird permissions. Yeah. And I actually did that for 2 years with Pepsi. My partner at the time, my boyfriend, had like taken a job out in Los Angeles. So I moved out there and I was that like oddball exception. And I had been at the company for a while. So it was like worth it to them to keep me and let me do that. But I had to travel once a month to my office in New York, and it was a weird exception, and everyone else was in the office, and it was hard and strange and weird. So yeah, I've been that person.
Yeah.
I was also like supposed to be in LA,
Okay.
so it was, go to meetings and whatnot. Still kind of had to be in a place. I couldn't be off like anywhere, but I had a little more freedom.
Okay, so next to the big one here, hybrid rules seems to be the compromise now. It's probably more common than fully remote. I'd have to check the numbers, but I think it is more common than fully remote. And hybrid just basically means employees want to work from home. Companies still have incentives to bring in employees. They meet in the middle and say, anywhere between 1 to 4 days a week, you have to come into the office. And usually I think it sits around like 2 to 3 based on what I'm seeing. 2 to 3 days in the office. So a lot of times they will label these jobs as remote.
They do.
It'll say remote. And it's like, yeah,
a little bit.
It is
some
remote
days.
sometimes.
It should say like remote some days. Work from home. It should say work from home some days.
It should say work from home some days. Yeah, exactly. Because remote means it doesn't really matter where you're physically located. Work from home means you come into the office. We have access to
if we need you to come in,
we get to determine your...
Yeah.
Exactly. I got to say that this does. I
was going to say the same.
People.
Yeah, talk about that.
Some people like that. Yeah, some people actually like that. Some people really benefit from getting that face-to-face interaction. I think they get energized by going to an office. Just a different breed of person. It kind of works well for them. Other people, it doesn't work very well for. And so what I would actually prefer for companies would be the option to do that. If they gave their employees the option, like, hey, look, we trust you as professionals and adults to get your job done, and you get to choose whether you want to come in or not, and then just let the numbers do the talking. A lot of people make the argument, people can't be trusted to work from home, they screw off. That's not the question. That's not the argument. The argument should be, are they getting their job done? If the job's not getting done, it's not getting done in the office, it's not getting done at home, doesn't really matter. That should be completely removed of the equation. The question should be, are we able to track outcomes from our employees effectively? And if not, you address the employee, not the location. It's a weird, they make this weird conflation between working from home and productivity, but they're not actually asking the right question, which is this whole thing kind of factors into, because a lot of times they want them on site for a couple days so they can see.
It almost reminds me, like the little cat and mouse game where people like, if you have a cat, if it's like playing like with a real live mouse, like it'll like let the mouse kind of walk away and then be like, pull it back. It's like, you know what I mean? And then it will like it's like a game.
No.
You went too far? Like come back. And it kind of reminds me of that. It's like, we're giving you freedom, but like, don't go too far. Come back. It's like, they don't really trust. So I don't know. It's a weird one, but what I was thinking when you said this too, like some people actually really do like this. So I think for the people who don't have a desire to travel, don't want to be spending like a month in, South Africa and then the next month in Panama, and they, some people maybe have kids and they go to school and they like want to be based in one city and they don't need the full like remote travel the world like you and I like. For them, I think it works because it gives people an option to be like, oh, like I want to get away from my family and my kids in my house and like see other humans and be in an office they like that energy. And then it's really nice to be like, oh, like today I can do my laundry at home and run some errands and pick up my kids and then and get my work done. It's like kind of gives this good balance. So for some people, they really do love that more than like working from home 5 days a week and never seeing coworkers and never, it like feels like the freedom, but you also get that energetic, like there are some nice, like I do miss my coworkers, you know, like friends that I made from working, like there's parts of it that were fun, but like I don't want to have to go in ever, and I want to be able to be in a different country. So that's, you know, where I'm at today. But for some people, they really like the hybrid stuff. But if you're looking for that full freedom to work from anywhere, that's not what you're looking for.
It's interesting. The hybrid thing is such an interesting thing. A lot of people do think that is the best solution. I don't know. I could go on and on about this.
It's a really good solution for companies, I think, because it's still kind of so many people will argue, like, if you never go into an office, like, you're never going to know those cross-functional, you're not going to set up an hour Zoom meeting with the accountant who, like, oh, you just run into them in the hallway and meet them, and then, like, there's benefits to that. So if that's what they're looking for, I feel like the hybrid solution really does kind of still give you that, like, touch point, the water cooler talk, the meeting of the people, whatever creative meetings you want to have together, and people still kind of get that best of that work from home situation. So I can see why if I was the type of person who like wanted to be in one city or location and didn't ever want to leave, I might even enjoy that and be like, maybe that would be fun, but I don't. So it works for some people. I can see why it works for companies in some ways, but it's not the future, and it's not the way of like travel.
Oh, you think it's not the future?
Well,
I do feel like this will be the most common trend in between return to office full mandate.
Well, I think of the future as like, when I say the future, I mean like the future where it's like there's long term, like offices don't exist, like no one's ever in person anywhere. We're like floating in the sky working. I don't know. Well,
think of it this
I'm talking the Jetsons, Jeff.
Right? Think of it this way. I'm with you. I'm with you. Okay, think of this too. Also, something that I hadn't considered before that somebody mentioned somewhere on a thread that I was reading. They do return to office, like say a couple days a week. We're now hybrid or something like that. And we've seen in the same company this trend over and over and over again, all of this offshoring work that they're doing. And like I've worked at a company like this. I've worked with companies like this. They'll offshore, say 25, 50% of their jobs to a lot of people in Cape Town get these jobs. A lot of people in India get these jobs. A lot of people in South Africa Philippines get these jobs, right? They are 100% fully remote, not hybrid. Right. And that's okay because they're getting a cheaper rate out of these people for the same quality, but the same standards are not applied to the people that are working, technically that were working for the company within, say, the United States. And they're like, oh, you got to come into the office. These folks don't, and that's not important, but these folks do, and this is important. Wait a minute. So you really actually do care about the output, and you want that getting done for a cheap rate, but you want people to come in and decide what are you trying to get at here? You know what I mean? Like eventually, I do think we are a huge community, right? And we will be seen as minds all over the world as this interconnected community, and we are moving in the direction. We've seen a lot of the companies in Anywhere Atlas where they write explicitly on their careers page, we track output, not hours. Right? We track what you give, not your physical presence. I love that. I do think that you're right. Yeah. That is our future, probably. But there's a lot of dinosaurs stuck in this.
I'm not saying everything's changing tomorrow, but I feel like the future is moving more and more.
No, I'm with you.
And by the way, if you're listening, Jeff just mentioned the Anywhere Atlas, which is our company database of over 300 companies that actually let you work from anywhere. Our number 11, which we'll get to at the end. But if you're curious to check those out, you can go to beachcommute.com/atlas, and you can log in and save all your favorite companies. It's really cool. So feel free to check that out if you want to skip all the 1 through 10 companies and just get the 11 work from anywhere. Okay, so that was hybrid. I feel like we've done that justice. There's a place for it. It's very common. I do think when I say it's the future, I think that will stay common for quite a while with a lot of companies, more than even just like the 5 days a week headquarters. But I think like the future, like 30 years, 40 years from now, I feel like we'll just all be working from anywhere. more so. Yeah,
you can see the trend. You can see the pathway that this leads to, and it's just kind of common sense. Yeah.
Okay, so number 4 is a really interesting one. Talk about it. What's 4?
Well, it's so interesting to you.
4 we have is kind of remote plus what we're calling 25% travel, but it's kind of any version of remote plus X% travel. So this one is interesting because in theory, you could be fully remote. You could work from home. It's probably more work from home. And it feels like amazing. Fully remote. It might even let you work from anywhere, but then like you have to be on site to either maybe visit clients or put on an event or come to a headquarter or like come to some, quarterly event when they want you to be there. So it's tricky because it's remote, but it's like, it reminds me of like if you had a kid on a leash where you're like, you're free with like an extension leash, but you're like, come back, you're free, but like come back. So you're not really free to work from anywhere in the world. You can't really travel. You couldn't really plan things like a trip 3 months in advance to, Europe, because during that time they might be like, oh, by the way, I need you to meet with this client like in LA 2 weeks from now, and you'd like have to come back. So I guess this is the type of one where if you were happy just in the city or town or wherever you were living and just working from home and remote and you didn't mind just like traveling around for work from time to time, that might be right for you. But if you're really thinking like you want to work from anywhere, you want to travel the world, this one is sneaky and is not for you.
So these ones typically apply to, I'd say when I see them, maybe about 75-80% of the time they're sales related jobs. Like
a sales rep has to go.
A regional sales manager. Yeah. Regional sales manager or something like that. And they're like, say they're in charge of the East Coast of the US. And so that means what the company's saying is like, we need you to be able to go visit clients or some of your team that's based out of there, that kind of thing. Yeah, that's typically the direction I see that. Usually a lot of sales related stuff, some finance related things. Usually you're client facing, or I've seen that too. Event coordinators, event managers. They actually have to be on location to set up these, where everybody gets together and they, oh God, what were these things?
Like annual.
Where all the companies
I was trying to think of the same word. And I also couldn't. I don't know, Jeff. The word doesn't exist today. It's not a conference. It is but there's a word for it.
It's
and
a
if you're listening,
kind of thing.
No, it has a name.
Conference
If whoever's listening is gonna know.
Do those still happen? I used to go to those.
It's so funny. You couldn't remember either when you were saying that. I was like, it's the people who set up. Wait, can we pause this for a second? I need to look up this word. We had to pause the episode for a second to look this up because Jeff and I's brain just decided to delete this word from our vocabulary. I feel like literally, like it feels like someone took like the Men in Black like little button and was just like, remove this from existence because you guys, this is not what you guys are doing anymore. But okay, so the 3 words ChatGPT gave us were trade show, like an expo, and a convention. I feel like there's still one word that it's.
I think COVID.
I think they're still happening, Jeff. We're just in a different world. These are definitely still happening.
Do you think like to the same level that they used to be happening? I gotta feel like with tech and with what COVID did, I feel like people don't want to go to these as much anymore.
They're still happening. I feel like people who are selling things for different industries, like physical products, they want you to come and try them all and be there to like experience all the. They're still happening. I think you and I are just so removed from it that it feels like it's not happening, but it is. But who's to say? Let us know. Is anyone here still attending trade shows and conventions?
Who's going?
Let us know.
Who's going to trade shows?
People are. I know they are.
I gotta know. Who's going to corporate mixers?
That I've never heard of. Jeff was just talking about mixers while we paused this. And I was like, what are you talking about?
That might be a thing of the distant.
I've never even heard of that. I don't know what a corporate mixer is.
So it's like it's networking, right? So the way that it would look is you would buy a ticket to a mixer.
This sounds like a dating, like...
You're in San Francisco. It's an awkward dating thing. It's really, really weird. You would go to, say, some hotel that got rented out for this mixer, and somebody's hosting this mixer, and there's some cocktails, you wear name tags,
but why
all these different companies go in, and it's generally going to be themed, right? Like it's a marketing mixer or something like that.
So slimy.
And the intention is that you network and meet people in other companies, and the goal is to collect a whole bunch of business cards, and then you get those business cards and you use them as leads or a way to make connections in the industry to make sales.
I guess I've just never heard it called this. I used to go to like fun networking things in New York that were like events and like concerts and cool things. You were going to weird mixers. I don't know.
It's dating without intimacy. It's so fucking weird. It was so weird. You're like collecting these business cards. That was
so
the goal.
Old school.
And I remember.
Do people still have business cards?
I think it was 2000. 11, I had to go to a few of these things for my first company. I had to go to a few of these things. And the boss is like, how many business cards did you get? And he'd collect these business cards as like trophies.
Business cards are going to be like antiques that we show like the next generation. They're going to be like, what
they already
is this?
are.
Yeah, I used to have a stack of them in my desk drawer of like all the people I'd met at like different events. And I was like,
it reminds me of American Psycho, where they're all comparing the business cards.
I've never seen it.
And it's like
I don't watch those kinds of movies,
like
Jeff.
Such a popular. I mean, it's a cultural thing. Like they're on memes everywhere. You open up Instagram, 1 out of every 10 is. This
I probably
joke
know the joke, but not
thing.
where it's from.
All right, I'm gonna send it out in the newsletter.
Fair
this
enough.
Is ridiculous. This is unacceptable.
Okay, so we've done. That was that just number 4? That was remote plus travel.
That was just number 5. Okay, number 5 is a
Ooh.
new one to me. It's hard to find a new one to me. So the exact example I found of this was this company that listed a job that said remote, and then it has a little bubble next to it that you have to hover over. And you hover over that, and it says work from hub remotely. And what the fuck does that mean? So it says, if you click into more details, they've got certain physical locations. They call them hubs, right? And what they ask is that you relocate to that area. I think the one that we were looking at before this was Austin.
There was like
right?
4 different ones. There was like 4 different hubs.
There's a few. Yeah. There was a few different ones, and so they expect you to relocate to that
like
area,
within driving distance,
and then work from home.
This area.
Ish, yeah. And then what they really mean is they want you to work from home
so
near
you
the
come
office.
in sometimes.
Because I suspect that they actually want you to be hybrid, or they have intention of returning to office full time. There's something sneaky going on back there.
It's like work from home, be free, but in this radius. Like, what? Why? If I'm really working from anywhere or from home, why do I need to be in this hub of a radius? Like, a radius of this hub makes no sense.
It doesn't make. I think I removed them from the atlas completely because of that. That was offensive.
You personally offended us. Goodbye.
It's too sneaky. Like there's some hidden motives. I
just want everyone to be honest because it's so confusing.
That's all I asked for.
People. No catfishing. No catfishing.
Yeah. No bait and switch. No catfishing. Just be straight up with it. So that's
a sneaky one. But it is important to look at, like, I do want to remind people that some truly work from anywhere jobs do have a location next to it, simply because, like, I just feel like it's like when people post on the traditional job boards, it will say, like, where are you located? Like, it has to have some sort of location, but if you read the print, it will say, like, work from anywhere. So even if you see a hub, or like, just be mindful if it's saying like you must be near this location or in this location or travel to somewhere near this, versus just like this company is here, but like you can work from anywhere, which we'll talk about. But sometimes you'll still see locations and that gets confusing for people, but it's like they have to put somewhere and you still have freedom. So just be mindful of that. Okay, what's number 6?
Okay, number 6 is, we're going to call it work from home. And the way this will show up, the way this will show up for you is, it's a little tricky because you mentioned when you see a remote job listing and then it says in parentheses, like United States,
San Francisco,
or Canada,
even. Sometimes
or
it says
like
a city
that.
even.
That's kind of, it's kind of vague because it could mean they can only hire you if you're in the United States. So that could mean it's an eligibility thing. We can only hire U.S. employees because this is where we're incorporated. This is where we do run our taxes. We don't do 1099 freelance contractors. But it could mean that. It could also mean that they want you to work just from the United States. They want you physically in the United States working from home. Right. So it won't, I don't think I've seen too many companies that say
I feel like
work
it's
from
never
home.
ever listed.
Some do.
Maybe not ever, but I feel like it's almost never listed on the, it's not like, here's a role, work from home. It'll be like the job in remote US or something, which kind of like implies work from home.
I'll tell you where I see it.
Do you actually see those words written?
I see it on careers pages. It'll say remote and it'll say parentheses work from home. And then I'm like, wait.
But does home have to be somewhere?
What exactly are you saying? Yeah, I think you're dressing up something. So these ones it's so tricky. I wish I could give you listeners an exact language to look for, but this is really the spirit and the intent of what they're trying to get out of you. And it's that they want you working from home, generally from where they're hiring from. So if they're hiring from Europe, they kind of want you to work from home in your European location. And I think the gist of it is they're not really open to you working and traveling.
It's like,
is
I
why
think
they
so
say
too.
that,
They haven't they don't have the permissions from taxes. They haven't figured it out. They're not letting people go anywhere. So it's like you must be in the country that they're hiring from typically, and but I just feel like most of them don't say work from home. Mostly it's just going to say remote parentheses country, or even sometimes a state. But yeah, you'll see one of those two. So that's your traditional like work from home, but like you don't have permission to go globetrotting and roaming the world, but you're probably not going to have to be required to like, go into an office or like catfished or baited and switched like into coming in or hybrid or, you know, anything like that. Like you truly can work from home and maybe never have to step foot in an office, but you are not free to work from other countries. So that's like, I feel like that's kind of become a more normal thing. I would say like hybrid is the most normal, and then work from home from anywhere, like, or from your country is the kind of next step away from the office. And then we'll talk about some even more freedoms there. So before we move on to 7, I also want to say, if you would like daily emails sent straight to your inbox with companies that actually let you work from anywhere that we vetted, you can also go to beachcommute.com/email, and we send remote job listings out each day with other like travel tips and Nomad trips, and they're super, super fun and exciting. So check that out. And with that, what is number 7, Jeff? Are we on 7? I think 7.
We're on number 7. So number 7 is working from a specific region requirements. And they will say in the job post, it'll say, we are hiring people to work in this specific region. And it's usually like, say, Western Europe would be a good example. Or a lot of times what you see is North America or Latin America. So this also could mean one of two things. This could mean that, or it could mean both. It could mean that they are the hiring eligibility. They're only going to hire citizens of that region. So if it says European region, they'll hire you if you're a citizen of Germany, right? They won't hire you if you're a citizen of India, right? You're ineligible to be hired there. It also, to me, has an implication that they want you working those time zone hours too. I think that's what they're getting at, is we want people physically located in this region. So it's a little bit more expansive in that you've got a time zone that you can, in an area you can be in. And so theoretically, I'm North American time zone. I'm a North American. I could probably travel north and south, and I probably wouldn't get any trouble. But just like the previous one where it says work from home and this one work from a region, I think what you would have to do if you wanted to start working from anywhere and traveling, you would have to specifically negotiate that with your boss. I mean, that's what I did because we didn't have a work from anywhere policy, but you can start to introduce the idea. So it's not explicitly stated that you can do it, but doesn't mean that you can't. And for these types of people, I wouldn't fully shy away from some of these jobs, because there could very well be potentials that they'll let you do limited trips, or they may actually full out let you become a fully, once you're trusted as an employee, they might give you the freedom to do that kind of thing. I know a lot of people have done this, with companies that say we're remote, but we're remote United States and things like that. And then eventually they just kind of get their way into, I'm going to work from anywhere, and they don't bother them. So it's kind of a gray area, but it is a doable thing that we see all the time.
And the same with that work from home. I would say work from that region is much more like they're going to be more flexible with you traveling to another country. Sometimes work from home people, I feel like, will negotiate like, hey, is it okay if I just go here for 2 weeks and work remotely? And like you have to get like very special permission and make sure you're staying and it's only a certain time and let everybody know. And it's a weird thing. So it's not like so friendly, but it's possible to negotiate little bits of it in those as well. But now we're getting into some more flexibility. So number 8, Jeff.
Yay, this is the more
where
fun
we like
stuff
to play. Number 8, 9, 10 are kind of like not totally there, but they're a good place to start. If you were to go from your office job and get one of these, you would feel a little bit more free. It's like better than nothing, better than not having these. So what's number 8, Jeff?
So number 8 is working from specific time zones. So what this means is they don't care where you're physically located. They're like, you just need to have, usually they'll say like a time zone overlap, and it'll be written directly in the job post says, hey, you can work from anywhere, but you have to have overlap with these specific hours. And usually that makes perfect logistical sense. It generally means, hey, most of the company is working like UTC European hours. You have to be available for 3 to 4 hours during the day. So wherever you are, it doesn't really matter. But if you choose to go to
Asia, you're gonna be
Bali,
up in the middle of the night working.
you're gonna be working a few odd hours, and that's on you, and that's fine because they're still giving you remote freedom. And I think that's a perfectly fair expectation of a company to say, we trust you to do whenever, but you might be in a job role where you have to be available to respond to stuff.
Like be in meetings at certain times and all of that. So you are free to sort of like wander, but it's on you how far you want to wander for your sleep and like sanity.
It's a little bit on you.
But you did that even for a lot of years, and that worked. Like, you stayed mostly in South America. Sometimes you would venture to Europe. You wouldn't go to Asia because you didn't want to be working at like 3 a.m. or through the night. But that got you a lot of years and a lot of exploration where like that was okay. So if you see this, like definitely it's not fully asynchronous, work from anywhere, be on your own time zone, but this is a great option.
It was great for me. All of Latin America, no problem. Western Europe, no problem. All the way pretty far Eastern Europe, just later hours, and it's a lot of the world. I mean, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I don't think I'd be able to do nights.
No.
That might tear me up. So I don't think I'd be able to do
people
Asia
do it.
now.
It's miserable.
Can now. I can now.
You're a night person now?
By the way. No, I wouldn't have to.
Oh, you can go.
Working
you
for
can go to
BHP?
Asia and work your own hours, you're saying. I thought you were saying you can stay up all night now. I was like, really? Would you want to?
No, fuck no, I still turn into a pumpkin at 9 o'clock now.
Yes, now we can make it work from anywhere, do anything, be anywhere. All right, well, with that, what's number 9?
Number 9 is work from anywhere with an expectation that you check in with the headquarters like semi-annually, something like that. So say you have to go in and meet the company in the headquarters once a year, something like that. So you got to go fly in. Sometimes the company will pay for it, which is kind of cool. Sometimes they won't. And you have to spend half a week to a week with the company just as kind of a regroup. The rest of the time they don't care, but once a year they want to see everybody's faces and who knows, maybe talk about company goals and objectives for the next year. I actually don't think that's a big deal, and I actually also think that that's a fair expectation too.
Actually meet people in person. Maybe you're there for like some annual event or like planning for the following year. It's just kind of a way to be a human at the company, but it's still like a little bit of a minor. Again, it's like you have 50 weeks of the year, let's call it, like roam wherever you want, and 2 weeks where you have to be there. For some of us, very, very free people, even that's like, I don't know, where will I want to be during those 2 weeks? Like, what if I want to be somewhere else? But overall, like if you get this option compared to, working in an office or remote from home, take it and run with it. It's really great. And it's kind of cool because you still get to meet your coworkers. Like you still have some, like there's some pros to that. So it's not the worst.
Yeah, it's a totally fair expectation. I think it's fine. I wouldn't be bothered at all. Yeah, sure, I am a little bit leery with people saying you must do XYZ at any point.
Like, what if I want to be in Thailand and you're telling me to come to, like, Central America?
Anytime somebody tells me I have to do something, my immediate default reaction is, no, I'm going to do what I want. Or I'll decide to do it on my own.
This business.
I know. I want to decide.
Don't tell me where to go.
I don't like authority figures. I'm a rebel by nature. Yeah. Don't tell me to do anything.
Yikes. Why were we made this way, Jeff?
Okay.
Okay. I wish I wasn't.
Makes life a little bit more difficult. I don't want to be I wish I could be a little bit more of a drone sometimes. Okay, just tell me what to do, but I cannot. I have to fight.
All right, with that, what's number 10? This is an interesting one.
Next one's
Similar,
but
a little different.
Loose version of the check-in, and that's like a yearly retreat. And almost every time I see this, on a lot of really, really good up-and-coming work from anywhere companies. And there's always a common theme with these careers pages. It is 100% when you're going through them, employee focused. It shows employees doing fun stuff on their own. It usually says work from anywhere plastered all over the careers page. says nothing about what we expect from you. We're a hard driving company, fast paced. There's none of that stuff. It's usually like employee focused, employee facing stuff. And they'll have some sort of post on there about, hey, we do these yearly retreats in cool exotic locations. A lot of times it'll list the previous ones. It'll be like Costa Rica 2022, Mexico City 2023, Athens 2024. And it'll show pictures of them
having fun, doing cool
retreat.
things, and traveling, basically traveling, but together. Yeah,
and it's usually paid.
Paid to get there. They pay for
and
hotels.
Yeah, and they may do some work, sure, like talk about company goals and things like that. But the main intention of these things is just to get to meet people in person in a cool location and feel good about the company. I think it's kind of a employee retention strategy too, and just creating a good culture. I love that.
Yeah. So fun. Again, it's like if you are so averse to anyone telling you where to be ever, this might be too rigid even for you. But the intention, I think what Jeff and I are saying is like we like the intention behind this one compared to like the sneaky weird things, cat and mouse game that people are doing with other office stuff. This one really feels, yes, it helps the company, but it's kind of helping everybody where you're like, you actually, all those people you've been talking to remotely on Slack and email and phone calls for the last 9 months, you get to come and meet and be like, oh my gosh, like you get to just have real experiences together and form real friendships and like meet face to face as a human and like just do things together. And usually, yes, they're going to be talking about like company goals or planning stuff, but they usually also do like take you ziplining or, have fun activities and you're in a cool place that you'd want to explore anyway. And so it's meant to be a positive thing, truly a win-win for everybody, but it does make you be somewhere probably 1 week of the year. So you get 51 weeks of freedom and 1 week of a fun event somewhere.
We're on to the last one.
Woo!
Our favorite one, and it's full work from anywhere. No
anywhere.
requirements. Work from anywhere. Don't care where you are. Doesn't matter to us. Some of the postings you'll see, it's usually on the careers page, but for some smaller companies, they just didn't have the resources to put together a thorough one, and you'll find it in the job listing, and it'll say something along the lines of, we don't care where you work from, some of them say like work from a cafe in Bali or work from your home, doesn't matter to us. This is the crown jewel of everything that we're looking for. We love these companies so much. They just really care about your output, and they know the types of people that they're going to be hiring are very autonomous. They value their freedom and independence. And when you give them that, a lot of times these, the employees, especially all the ones we know, they reward the companies by being super loyal and working long hours and things like that because they feel empowered. They feel trusted. And it's like, that's a good incentive for me to be a high performer.
Yeah. It's a win-win. Like people want to do, like you're treating them well and giving them this freedom that they know so many other companies don't give. And so you're free in return. And like you trust them, they do good work. And like, even when I think about the people who work with us and for us, Jeff, like I was always so afraid that like, I just wanted to be this way. But when I had someone working for me, I would be like, just kidding, you need to do whatever. But like, I love how free we let our employees, like we want everyone to be. I'm like, why aren't you traveling? Like, where are you? Go be free. I don't care. Do your work wherever. Work at 3 a.m., 2 p.m. I don't care. I mean, sometimes if you need to, like, there's might be a time where like, hey, we need to have an hour call. Like, let's figure it out. What time works for you? Here's where I am. Here's where you are. Let's chat. But it's pretty autonomous. And it's just like, get your work done. Be free. Go travel. Have a life. And I think when you empower employees, like, yes, sometimes it is more... there's times where like being in person, you can brainstorm in a different way or doing this, but overall it's like when people feel free and they get to live their lives and you've empowered them to have the freedom to travel from anywhere, they're going to love working for you. And it's, maybe you're 85% as effective as if you were all brainstorming in a conference room, but like I feel like the effect of just their happiness and life more than makes up for it in like the work that they do and put forward and work for you. So anyway, we love the work from anywhere. We love the job listings that truly are just like work from anywhere. You either say work from anywhere, work from everywhere, work from anywhere you want. We don't care where you work from. All of those things are like usually plastered on those job descriptions and the careers pages when they truly, truly mean this. And again, the Anywhere Atlas that we have put together are all the companies that we have found in our 5 years of scrounging through companies now and looking for these for you, of all those companies that are truly, and we remove them when they change or they go become hybrid or do something different. But if you're looking for those work from anywhere companies, you go to beachcommute.com/atlas. It is, free to check out the companies and look at all and view them there. So do check that out. It's a super, super helpful resource that people love to use. And is there anything else you want to share, Jeff?
So I want to talk about a couple companies. We're constantly researching companies, finding new ones, evaluating old ones on a daily basis. And we spend a ton of our time in careers pages. We know everything about careers pages, good ones, bad ones, great ones, crazy ones, some really goofy ones. The most recent one that I found is PostHog. I love this company, posthog.com. They have the most clever, interesting careers page I think I've ever seen. They've got a section on why you shouldn't work here, which is so bold. And it's like, you shouldn't work here if you like tons of oversight and micromanaging. It's such a funny approach. You've got to check out this careers page. I've never seen one like it before. But there's some great ones out here, and I want to go through some of the language that they use in their remote job postings, because it'll give you a really good idea of everything that we're talking about here. So there's a new one here, scroll.io, and their remote policy is enjoy a fully autonomous, ownership-driven nature with the freedom to work from anywhere.
Mic drop.
Cut and clear. Simple. Yeah, that's it. Mic drop, right? That's exactly what you're looking for out of these things. Another one that I really, really like is called Circle. That's circle.so. This has been my personal favorite for a while that I've been ranting and raving about.
It's like your crush.
What's
that?
Like
a crush on these companies.
It's like I get crushes. I get like flavors of the month, and I'll just go on and on about them. This is maybe my flavor of June. Okay, maybe I've moved on a little bit to PostHog, but these guys say we're proud to be a fully remote company of around 180 and growing team members from 30 plus countries around the world. Fully remote, work from anywhere in the world. Again, just like a really cut and dry.
I love it. We should have like a company of the month, the same way other people have like employees of the month. Wouldn't that be fun? Like you're basically your crush of the month.
Would be great.
We should do like an email about or something. Jeff's crush company of the month. Jeff's crush of the month.
That I want that so badly for us.
We can do it. We can do anything we want, Jeff. Added. Done.
Let's do it. Yeah, right? This is our thing. It's fine. Okay, so we've got another one, PostHog here. You've got to check out their careers page. Just do it if you're listening. The section I told you about, warning, you'll hate working here if. And they've got 4 cartoons. Actually, no, they've got like a whole slideshow of cartoons below. And one is you want to be able to tell other people what to do.
We do like that.
Love that. You expect your manager to tell you what to do.
Yes, we're like, please don't make us tell you what to do. Just go do it.
Yeah. The phrase, that's not my job, exists in your vocabulary. I'm good with that. This one's great. You enjoy playing corporate politics.
Worst.
And they've got this guy sitting at a podium with a sign that says loud noises. It says we're low ego and nearly all communication is public. Oh, yeah. And then it gets even better here. Unexpected benefits section. 2 meeting-free days per week. After extensive research, we found the best way to ship fast is to have fewer meetings. That's pretty cool. Okay, and then they've got their remote work policy. You're required to take at least 25 days off per year. If you don't, you'll be locked out of Slack. Just kidding. But not. This doesn't come out of your sick leave or your generous parental leave. That's pretty awesome there. I love that. Remote work policy. This one is an interesting one because it's a time zone one. So fully remote, but hire employees for specific jobs have to work from, for example, GMT +2 to GMT -8. So it's like a 10-hour span of time, which is US or Eastern Europe. So you're expected to work within those time frames. And that's
like you could be anywhere, but as long as you want to work whatever hours you choose, just to overlap with it.
Yeah, and it says we judge performance based on real outcomes.
I feel like you wrote this website, Jeff.
I know. I read that. I'm like,
you love them. That's amazing. But they really are the best there, and they do exist. And also, I always point out when you hear companies like written in these goofy ways and playful ways, you can imagine working there is gonna feel the same, right? Like the people are gonna be more playful than like a really uptight, like stuck up culture that's tense and fearful. you're going to play at work. You're going to joke at work. Like when you see the words like this, it's clearly woven into the culture and the people and the company. And it's so important.
That's it. That's what.
If that's what you're looking for.
They weren't adapting. Yeah. They weren't adapting to COVID to make it work. Like,
right. You can feel like they were laughing when they wrote this website. Like you and I would do. Be like, this is funny. We think this is funny. We'd want to hear this.
Everything about it is like, they were in my head when they wrote this. You actually wrote it.
Well, does that cover everything for this topic?
I think so, yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah, well, you did actually, a quick honorable mention, Jeff. You did want to mention, I think, work from anywhere versus hire from anywhere. Do you want to quick little note on that?
Let me take a moment for that. That's kind of confusing for people because people write to me on these work from anywhere jobs that I post, and they say this is not a remote job because they won't hire me in Asia, in India, or something like that, right? So we need to make a distinction between work from anywhere and hire from anywhere or hiring eligibility. So work from anywhere is a working policy for existing employees. So their policy is you may work from anywhere in these instances. Like once they hire you, you may work from anywhere, right? Now people confuse this because that company may not necessarily hire people who live anywhere.
Or like who are citizens of anywhere, I should say. It's like more about your citizenship.
Yeah. Exactly. So their hiring eligibility comes down to a ton of different factors with the company. So it depends on how the company is structured. They may only be able to hire citizens of countries in which they're incorporated in. And that might be their structure. Like it might be tax reasons, legal reasons, doesn't matter. That's how they structured the company. They can't hire full-time citizens of these countries, right? And they only will hire full-time employees. Now, there are some companies that do hire from anywhere, and you would be a 1099 contracted employee. So you wouldn't be like a payroll employee that's getting benefits. You're kind of an independent contractor working on your own. And if they are a hire from anywhere company, you can almost expect that that's probably what you're going to be looking at as a 1099 contractor type of thing. So these are work from anywhere companies. They're not hire from anywhere companies. And yeah, you just have to find out. And a lot of times you actually have to talk to the company and see, am I eligible for being hired? Some companies list it out. Wikimedia does. It'll list out every single country that they're eligible to hire from. And a lot of this, again, is like tax reasons. Security is a lot of it too. Like if sometimes they actually cannot have, if they have sensitive access to databases, they cannot do that from certain countries. You cannot access these databases from certain countries. Don't ask me why, I don't know. It has to do with the particular company and their security setups and their insurance policies and all that kind of stuff. And that is an important thing for the company. And you're not eligible. So unfortunately, that is a much murkier area than the actual remote section that we were talking about before. A lot of times this isn't even listed. There isn't even weird language to sort from. It's not even there. And you come to find out in an interview, we don't hire people from this place. So that's very, very tricky. And there's very little guidance that I can give people on, other than I've got a log of all of the hire from anywhere companies that I've found. And I'm just continuing to add to it. So if these are companies that you're looking for, you can shoot me a note and I will give you the list of the ones that I have.
We'll add a toggle to
the atlas.
Just
rare.
Maybe that would be helpful as well to do hire from anywhere, because it is like this as much smaller subset. I would say for people looking as well, is like if you're looking for work from anywhere, it's a good idea to like just kind of network around and find companies in your country that like are incorporated. Like that's their, if they had a headquarters or wherever it's incorporated, it would be in your country and you can work from there and work from anywhere. Or I feel like a good sign, even if it doesn't, I don't think I've ever seen like we hire from anywhere. Like it's not usually using that language yet. But the one, I forget which company it was you just talked about, Jeff, that's like, we have employees in 60 different countries and this and that. Like that's, I feel like the language you'll typically see when they're more of that hire from anywhere is they'll usually have some stats or language on their website that will say like, we have like people working from us in 17 different countries around the world or on every continent, or they'll have a map where like all the employees are from. So that's a good indication, I would say, that you can probably hire from anywhere and not just work from anywhere. But yeah, don't come at us when we say the company is work from anywhere, but they'll only hire from the US or they'll only hire from Belgium or whatever it is. It's like those people, you just have to be from that country and then you can travel the world as you want. But it's confusing. So anyway, we wanted to lay out the spectrum because it's so confusing. It took us a whole podcast episode to explain this to you, and there's probably more details we could have gone into, but this is the kind of spectrum, the lay of the land of the evolvement, if you will, of in office to work from anywhere to hire from anywhere. Even we don't mention that one as much, but there's lots of little what I call the messy middle in between. So take your pick of what you're looking for. Now you'll know what to look for as you look at job descriptions and think about it. And we hope that this really helped you.
I think that's it. I think we've covered everything on that topic.
Everything. More than you ever wanted to know.
And we will be adding, I'm adding a little feature in our database that notes when they're hired from anywhere companies. I'm adding that. So that will eventually be a toggle. Atlas. I'm adding, on the Anywhere Atlas. Thank you. And I'm also adding another, if they have transparent salary bands, like they actually publicly post that's going to be another toggle feature. So up and coming stuff, but we're keeping our eyes on it. So again, go to beachcommute.com/atlas if you haven't already checked that out. It's an amazing resource, just straight to the work from anywhere, some of the hire from anywhere. And with that, we will see you next week.